Hi, I'm Teresa, and today we're going to do a yoga sequence that's going to open up the neck, the shoulders, and the upper back area. We're going to do some other movement too, so we'll get down into our full body, doing a little bit of vinyasa with some sun salutations and some warrior movements thrown in, but our main emphasis will be the whole cervical and upper back area so that we can really get into that upper spine. So we'll get into the lumbar a little bit, but more the thoracic from like the ribs up is going to be what our main focus is today. All right, so let's get started with either having a bolster. If you don't have a bolster, you could take a blanket and really kind of roll it up into a bolster shape. So you can have it like nice and long and roll it and get that kind of thing. If you don't have a blanket, a couple towels work well as well. So I'm going to set my blanket aside and I'm going to use a bolster. So what I'd like to do first is we're going to open up by lying on our back and getting this nice stretch here in the mid back. So we'll be lying on our back and the bolster or your blanket, it's going to come right up there in kind of that low rib area. So you're going to lie back and you want to be sure that your shoulders are up. So you're going to come all the way down. Now if it's too much to get your neck and head comfortable, then you'll put a blanket underneath your head like this and have that little extra pillow. If you feel like you don't need that, then once you get settled in, you're going to let your head drape down to the mat. Okay, so our arms are free, our shoulders are free. Now your arms, you can rest them on your belly if you want, or just rest them on the side, or come out into a big T. So whatever feels comfortable. I like my arms in a T here, so I'm going to try to wiggle and make some room to do that. And then my head, I want my head touching somehow. So if it's not touching, then use that blanket. And then the legs are nice and long. We're just going to breathe easy here for a few breaths. So you might feel this opening in the chest and the upper shoulder area. And that's what we want, this nice opening. We're getting the collarbones widening. Just take a few breaths here. We'll take 2 more breaths. We're going to come back to this once more on our second side. Even though we're still on our back, we're going to move and get one more opening here. All right, take one more breath. And then this is how we're going to move at it. You're going to bend the left knee and put your foot on the ground. I'm going to start to lift your hip and roll to the side. So you should end up on your right hip. So you're going to roll over this way, and then you're going to bring your arm up. So I've got my right arm bent, and I'm going to rest my head on it. So we're going to do a little neck movement here with this stretch. We're going to first bring the left arm overhead. So you're resting the arm, and don't worry so much what the legs are doing. Just kind of keep comfortable here. So stretch it over and keep reaching, and then we're going to roll open. Now this hand that's supporting the head, that's really going to be doing a lot of work here. So you're going to press it open, and you're going to keep kind of pressing your neck up. So you let the neck kind of lie in your hand and let the hands do the work. So you're going to press your head up and hold. And then we're going to roll over and then let your top arm, your left arm drop. You're going to take your hand and you're going to kind of bring that hand around. So you kind of fold the neck in so the chin comes toward the elbow, or sorry, toward the chest, toward the shoulder. That's what I meant to say. So you can kind of, like, don't force it too much, but you're going to kind of let the hand help and feel a stretch here. Take one more breath. And then open up. So you're going to open back up, rest your head on your hand, and let that go. And take the top arm again one more time and stretch it out, stretch it back, big stretch, and release. And we're going to get a hamstring stretch while we're here. So you can keep your head resting gently and then roll all the way over onto the right hip, bend your left knee, grab onto the foot or the ankle, and then just kind of pull in so that you want this heel coming in towards your glutes. And just gently rest the head again. Don't let the head do any work. And give it one more nice pull, gentle pull. And release. Okay, you're gonna press up and scoot around to the other side. So I'm just gonna move my bolster around to the other part of my mat. We're gonna come in the exact same way. So you come a little bit forward, roll back, let that back be the same place that it just was, and roll open. Now notice how your neck feels. So I have a little bit of tightness in that side that we just stretched. So we're gonna work that out eventually if you've got any tightness there. And once again, let the chest open, let the ribs widen. You'll feel a little compression in that upper back. We'll take 2 more breaths here. Bend your right knee, place your right foot on the mat, lift the hips a little bit, roll slightly to the left side, and come on up here. You're going to place your hand underneath your head again. So we're going to do that same kind of thing, stretching. So I'm just kind of lounging on my side here, foot on the mat, other leg long, and my right hand comes down, and I'm going to really rest my head in my hand. So I'm going to let my neck kind of be floppy and just support it with my hand. I'm going to bring my right arm up and stretch it overhead and reach. And then we're going to open up to the back and kind of roll back a little bit. Now we're going to really use that hand here to kind of pull and get some traction and lengthen in the neck and reach. So we're really supporting the neck with the hand, and roll over toward your chest. You're going to place your right hand down. I'm going to use your hand here again. So see how I'm just really pressing it forward. So my thumb is pressing kind of by the neck and the occipital area, right where that skull is. You're going to like reach and nod the chin to the chest, to the kind of armpit area of the shoulder. Gentle. So I'm giving it some traction. So I'm lengthening and pulling. So you'll feel some traction, but we don't want to pull too hard. Tucking the chin. And release it up. Stretch that arm overhead one more time. And release the arm down. And then roll all the way to the side. We'll get that hamstring stretch. Bend the knee, grab onto the foot or ankle, and pull your heel towards your glutes. Take 2 more breaths here. And release it down. Okay, so gently press yourself up and around. So we're going to still use this bolster or your blanket. Come to your knees. So we're going to come kind of to a puppy dog pose, but we want the arms to be on the bolster. And your head's going to drop down in the front of the bolster. So the forehead might come to the mat. Reach the arms out. The palms are kind of flat. Forearms on the bolster. And there's going to be some press here. Now if that's too much, just kind of come up a little bit. You could also do this without the bolster if you'd like. And we're going to press back so our hips keep leaning back. Lengthening through the arms. One more deep breath. And release. Come on up. And we're going to scoot that bolster aside. Get it out of the way for now. And come on to our hands and knees. We're going to come back to that bolster in just a minute. So spread the fingertips wide. So we're going to move down the back a little bit here, but we're going to emphasize again shoulders, neck, and upper back. So first we're going to come into a cat. Take an inhale and then exhale into your cat. Pull the belly in and round. So hold here and keep pressing the back up. Pull the belly in. So notice how the neck feels. See if you can let it dangle a little bit. So we're going to let go of the neck muscles, and we're pressing in that upper back area, right in that mid-back rib area. Keep pressing up. Keep pulling up in the belly. And release to neutral. Now instead of going completely into a cow, try to kind of keep the belly where it's at a little bit and just kind of lift the head and neck. So you're going to drop your belly a little bit, but think of more the chest pressing forward and the gaze lifting, and then start to drop the belly a little bit more. And release. Grab your bolster once more. We're going to bring it back on our mat. We're going to come into Sphinx, with the elbows in front of the bolster. So the bolster is resting now right on the breastbone and low ribs. Elbows tuck into your bolster, fingertips are spread wide, legs are long, and your toes are touching the mat, fingertips are wide. So we let the belly come down, now let the pelvis come down. So we're gonna use our arms to kind of pull in, so this kind of pulling in with the arms and lifting forward. So there's this nice big lift, mostly working in the upper back. And then release down and just kind of tuck the chin to the chest and come back up. So once again, we're going to pull the elbows in and lift and keep reaching. Take one more deep breath and release. All right, pressing back up and once again, taking this bolster away for a bit. All right, coming back to hands and knees. And we're going to take the right leg behind and give it a little stretch in the hamstring, press through the heels. Release it down, left leg behind, toes curl, press through the heel, and release it down. All right, come on back, and you can do a couple things. You can have a seat on your heels if that's comfortable. If that's uncomfortable, you can sit cross-legged. So I've got my blanket here. I'm going to lift up and have a little seat on my blanket, and that way it's a little more comfortable while I'm sitting here, because we're going to be here for a little bit. So this is called student pose. So we're going to sit down, and just like you're sitting here in a class or something and pay attention to the teacher. I'm going to take off my glasses because I don't really need them and they've got a little glare going. Okay, so sit up nice and tall, belly in. So check in with those shoulders. So what we're going to do is first we're going to take our shoulders and shrug them up to the ears and then lower them down. And then see if you can lower them down more. So there's this kind of neutral spot. Once again, ears down and then all the way down, and then see if you can find a neutral spot. So that's where, if you took a nice deep breath, had no stress in the shoulders, that's where that would be. And we're going to draw those shoulders back and like just gently press the chest forward and feel that. So our shoulder blades are drawing together and so are our upper arms. And then release again and draw the shoulders forward and release. So what we're doing here is we're looking at all those different ways our shoulders work. So we have our shoulder blade, and the collarbone comes across here in the chest, and then the upper arm bone. So we're feeling all those different movements, all the corresponding muscles and connective tissues as well. All right, bring your hands out wide, open up, and arms overhead. And then interlace your fingers here, and then just really reach up. So reach those shoulder blades up as much as they can go, and then lower them down and find that neutral space. We're going to take a lean to the left, or whichever way you went first is fine. We only got 2 ways, fortunately. Thank goodness we don't have 8 arms, or it would be very challenging to teach yoga. Going to the other side, if you didn't already go there. And back up. Okay, lower the arms down. All right, we're going to come back into that neck again. So this time we're going to tuck the chin to the chest. Now if you'd like, you can bring your hands up overhead and place the fingers behind you. Tuck the elbows in. That will give you a little more pressure. If that's too much, then just release your arms to your lap. So either way, holding for 2 more breaths. So feel that lengthening in the back of the neck. And you might feel a actual back muscle, but it also connects up into our skull as well. Big muscle that we use that helps us lift our arms. We have the rhomboids, and we've got our trapezius that's working here. And then release, come on up. All right, we're going to do chin to ceiling. Just let the hands rest in your lap, chin to ceiling. So try to keep tall in the spine so we're really just working in the cervical area, the neck area. Chin comes up, and then we're going to open up in the jaw. So open your mouth really wide. and close it, and do that a couple times. It's really wide open mouth like you're catching bugs. And then kind of soft, so the mouth's going to be open, but you're not going to let it open really wide. And then you're going to take your jaw side to side. You might feel something in your ears when you do that. So you've got plugged up ears. It's kind of a natural thing to open the jaw and move around. Come on back to neutral and release. I'm going to look over the left shoulder. As you're doing that, take your left hand and push into your right shoulder. So kind of at the chest, or have the hand on the pectoral muscles, but we're going to kind of feel that upper arm bone too. So you're going to press it open as you look over, but keep a tall neck too. So don't, we're twisting, but we're keeping the chin parallel to the floor. Take 2 more breaths. Release to center, release the arm down. Turning to look over the other shoulder. Same thing here, bring your arm over. So I've got my right arm to left shoulder, just go in the opposite shoulder. I'm going to kind of push my shoulder back gently and then continue to look. So we get this tension in here. We want this nice tension that we're using to kind of stretch here. So we're holding and release, coming back to center. All right, remove any props that you have, set them aside, and we're going to come 2 hands and knees. We're going to come through some vinyasa, but we're going to start low. So we're going to extend one leg back, doesn't matter which one. Extend your other leg back so that you end up in a plank, and press the floor away. Now here's options. Knees can be down. You can pike a little bit, but don't let that pelvis fall. So keep level here. Press the floor away. 1 more breath. And then from here, we're going to come forward on our toes, lower down knees, chest, chin, release the toes, and come up to a cobra. Keep the elbows bent maybe, or you can come all the way up if you're ready. And then from there, curl the toes, make your way into downward dog. So we're going to hold here for a few breaths, press the heels of the mat, lengthen out, and then maybe bend one knee and then the other, kind of pedal the feet, stretch it out a little bit, and then hold. Press back, heels of your hand, lengthen the upper body. Take 1 more breath. We're going to walk our hands to our feet. Normally do feet to hands. We're going to walk hands to feet. And then from here, we're going to take this nice deep fold. You can bend the knees if you'd like. You can grasp elbows if you like. We're going to stay here for a few breaths. Now, as you're here, feel that weight of the head so you get this nice traction in the spine. Turn your head side to side. And we're going to come up halfway. You can have hands on the shins, lengthen the back so your back's kind of in a tabletop. Reach the crown of your head forward. Think of like a turtle reaching out of its shell. Let the shoulders come back slightly. And once again, fold all the way down. And then this time we'll roll up to standing. Stand up nice and tall. Inhale, bring the arms up overhead. And exhale and float the arms down. Once more, arms overhead. Interlace the fingers. We're going to come into a slight back bend. So you can't see me quite. I'm going to have my arms overhead. I'm going to take a little back bend. And release. Arms down. So now we're going to interlace the hands behind. Roll the shoulders open. So we're going to come into a forward fold. So you decide where you stop, but I want you to really roll those shoulders back. Bend the knees slightly as you begin to come forward. Arms will lift. You can stop at any place you like. Continue as far as feels comfortable. If you're able, arms will come all the way up toward the ceiling. And your head will be close to your knees. You can maybe gaze between the knees. Get a new perspective upside down. It's always nice. And release and come on arms go. All right, we're going to work through a couple sun salutations, and while you're working, just keep that emphasis on the neck, the shoulders, and the upper back. So just notice what's happening with each position that you move in and how you feel. I'm going to turn this way to start. So anywhere on the front edge of the mat, inhale, bring the arms up overhead. Exhale, come into a forward fold all the way down. Inhale, come up halfway and lengthen, hands on the mat or the shins. Exhale, fold. Choose whatever leg you want to step back to a lunge, step back to plank. Take a little pause. You can do knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. And you can either land all the way or curl over the toes and come to up dog, and then make your way to downward facing dog. Take a couple nice deep breaths here. As you're breathing, lengthen in that back. Feel what's going on with the neck. You should be able to turn your heads here. Lengthen out. One more breath. And then take your dominant leg and step forward to a forward fold. Inhale, come up halfway, lengthen the spine, flatten out the back, get that long neck. Exhale, fold. Inhale, bring the arms all the way up to the ceiling. Palms meet palms, come to heart center. And down to your side Tadasana, and take a nice deep breath. And we'll go through that again. This time we'll switch the leg we step back with and the leg we step forward with. Inhale, bring the arms up to the ceiling. Exhale, come into forward fold all the way down, Uttanasana. Inhale, come up halfway, hands on the shins or the mat, lengthen the spine, check in with that upper back shoulder area. Exhale, fold. Step back with your left leg to lunge. Step to plank, take a little pause, roll forward, lowering down to the mat, chaturanga or knees, chest, chin, coming up to cobra or up dog. Lengthen, feel the neck, feel the shoulders. Come into downward facing dog. We'll take 3 breaths here. Really press back and lengthen. So if you are tight in the hamstrings, bend the knees, you can also widen your stance. Make sure that your neck is loose. One more breath. This time we're going to take a step forward with the non-dominant leg. Step forward, forward fold. Inhale, come up halfway, hands on your shins. Exhale, fold. Inhale and rise, arms come up to the ceiling. Palms meet hands to heart center. And down to your side in Tadasana. Take a nice deep breath. We're going to do that through 2 more times, adding on slightly. Inhale, bring the arms up to the ceiling. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, come up halfway, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Take your right leg, step it back to lunge. Take a little pause. So we're going to pause here. We're going to keep the right hand on the mat. Left hand comes to the knee. So emphasis in the upper back. Take a little twist and open. So what's going on with your neck here? Can you keep it nice and long? Can you continue that twist? So now I'm going to kind of lead with my chin, looking up to the sky. And once again, feel the neck. Now relax that open shoulder. We can keep pressing it open, but we don't want it to come up to the ear. One more breath. Reach your arm behind you. So we're going to stretch a little more and then maybe open it a tiny bit, lean back. Reach that arm forward and lower it to the mat. So you're back in a lunge. Take a step back to plank. Either knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga, your choice. I'm going to do knees, chest, chin this time. Uncurl the toes. Come up to cobra or up dog. So cobra's legs down, up dog is lifting on the feet. Make your way to downward facing dog. We'll take 3 total breaths here. Lengthen in the spine, check in. Nice deep breaths. One more breath. Step forward with your dominant leg. All the way forward, forward fold. Inhale, come up halfway, lengthen that spine, nice tabletop. Exhale, fold. Inhale and bring the arms up, palms lower to heart center and down to your side. In Tadasana, your standing pose. All right, once more through other side. Inhale, bring the arms up. Exhale, come through to forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, fold. Left leg steps to lunge and pause. Keeping the left hand on the mat, bring the right hand to the thigh. I'm going to twist open here. Keep the neck lifted. Check in with that neck. Keep lifting through the chin with your twist. And then reach your arm behind you. You can open it up a little more, like bringing that hand across behind you and bringing it over, forward, all the way until you right yourself back up. Lower the arm to lunge, step to plank, lower down. I'm going to do chaturanga this time, but I'm coming all the way down, uncurling my toes and lifting to cobra. Make your way to downward dog. Hold for 3 breaths. So whenever you're doing your vinyasas, you choose the pattern. You can vary it up. You might do it 4 ways the same. You might do it 4 ways different. Lengthen in that spine. Stretch the neck. Think of like pressing the hips up higher. Take 1 more breath. Step it forward, forward fold. Inhale halfway, lengthen that spine, hands on the mat or the shins. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise, arms come up to the sky, palms meet at heart center, and down to your side, Tadasana. Take a nice deep breath. All right, we're going to go through a little warrior series from here, and then we're going to add on toward the end with dolphin. Bring hands to heart center. Check in with the neck, shoulder area, belly's in. We're going to step the left leg open, or whichever way you're facing me. So we're going to step open so that, keep your hands at heart center for a moment. We're in our warrior 2 stance. So check your feet position, and then turn so that your hands are facing, chest is facing. Sink in just a little bit more. Find your best warrior stance. Make sure your shoulders stay relaxed as you extend your arms out. From here, gaze goes forward. Really let those shoulders come down. So sometimes it's like this. Really want to bring those shoulders down. Use that stretch to lengthen. Gaze forward and then sink it down just a little bit more, a little bit more. Good. And then we're going to rotate the palms up and rotate them down. 2 more times like that. Just rotating the palms up, rotating down, rotate palms up. Now hold here. Keep that top right arm, the forward arm, rotated up. Drop your back arm down and come into reverse warrior. Now arm can be straight up to the ceiling, or you can take it farther back if you like. Good. And then come forward. We're going to gently bend the elbow and rest here on that front leg. Extended side angle, but we're going to hold the left hand on the hip for a moment, our elbows back. We're going to roll open a little bit. So use this tension of pressing the hand in the hip, and then release your arm up to the ceiling, and then maybe through a bigger extension. If you want to take this arm down, you can. If you want to do a wrap, you could bring your hand down and wrap and tuck. If you want to do a full bind, then you bring your hand down and do a full bind. So you can stop anywhere in between there. So wherever you're at, hold and breathe. 1 more breath. Gently release and come up to your warrior 2. Straighten the front leg and pivot around. So we're in kind of a star pose. Bring our hands behind, clasp the hands, roll the shoulders open. So we did this forward fold earlier. Now we're going to do it with our wide legs. Take a fold. Arms up to the ceiling. Head is coming toward the mat. Stay in your fold. Release the hands down
and see how the shoulders feel. So you kind of wiggle around here a little bit, let the shoulders drape, let the crown of the head drape. If it feels comfortable, reach your hands behind you, palms down. Just crawling back there, gets a nice little stretch in the shoulders. One more deep breath. And then we're going to start to come forward, lift up halfway. We're going to add a twist here. Right hand stays on the mat. Left hand can come to the hip as you twist. If you'd like, you can bring that hand up to the ceiling. So make sure you're lengthening in the crown of the head here. One more deep breath. Lower the hand down. Right hand to the hip. Twist to the side. Arm up to the ceiling if you'd like. You can always keep it down. Try to keep a long spine here. So think of pressing back in the tailbone, pressing forward in the crown of the head, and lower down. We're going to rise up, hands on the hips, arms out. And then either heel toe or take a little hop with legs together. Perfect. All right, other side. We're going to start our Tadasana on the other edge of the mat. Standing up nice and tall. Hands at heart center. Check in with the head, neck, and shoulders. Keeping the left foot forward. Step your right leg out. And make sure that you're pivoting here in your warrior two stance. So my front foot is parallel to the side of the mat. My back foot parallel to the back of the mat. Hands at heart center. Sink it down. And press through the legs. Once you feel like your shoulders relax, extend the arms. And bring your gaze forward. Shoulders are down. And hold here. Okay, we're going to rotate palms up. Rotate down. Two more. Rotate palms up. Rotate down. Rotate palms up. Hold. Front arm is going to stay with the palm up. Back arm comes down. And take your reverse warrior. So any shape that you like. It can come way back or it can stay up. So you choose where you want your reverse warrior to be. One more deep breath. Begin to come forward, elbow bent. Both elbows bend. Hand on the hip. Front arm bends and rests on your thigh. You're going to kind of roll open here. Get that stretch. So think of like if somebody's pulling at the crown of the head and pushing down on your foot. You'll get this nice long line. At the same time, your hands on your pelvis and you're rolling open. And then release that back arm. Either coming to a full extended triangle, arm down, bind, whichever you want to do. So if you're binding, once again, you're going to reach underneath, clasp your hands, open up, and hold. Two more breaths, wherever you're at. Release. Woo, come on up. All right, we're sinking into our warrior two again. I'm going to straighten the front leg and come around to the side. And this time we're just going to bring our hands down to our hips and hold. Okay, so hold here. We're going to come into a lean to the right. We're just going to really lean, lean, lean. I'm going to transition into triangle here. So you're going to pivot your right foot over. Reach your hand down, and wherever you want it, it could be down with the palm open, or you can have it rest on the shin. Bring your opposite arm up. So we want our arms to be fairly straight up and down here, as much as possible. Long neck, long shoulders. So if your neck is tired, you can look down. If it's feasible, try to look up at your hand, but keep your neck long. One more breath. Rise, pivot so your legs are parallel. Take a breath, hands on the hip. Then we're going to switch the other side. So you're going to pivot and lean. Bring your arm down and your other arm up. And hold. So once again, we want our arms kind of parallel to each other. So if you can, there's a lot of options with the hands. You can have it on here, on the shin. You can even have it on the thigh. But holding the arms so that they're nice and long. One more breath. And inhale and come up. All right, pivot and bring your legs so they're parallel. Shoulders relax. Let's take our hands behind us once more.
Interlace the fingers, but we're not going to come forward. We're just going to open up here. You can bring your arms way back behind you if you want, or keep them down a little bit. Now with the hands back there, we're going to take our head side to side, just very gently, and then release. Okay, we're going to either heel toe or take a little hop and let that go. Take a nice deep breath. So stand in our Tadasana for just a moment. Check in with your feet, that they're parallel. Check in with the belly. Open up a little bit. We haven't done a lot of emphasis on the core, but you're using it even when I don't tell you to, hopefully. All right. Check in with the neck, shoulders, and release. All right, we're going to do a couple of vinyasas to come down to the mat, or not a couple, one. And then we're going to come into dolphin pose. All right, so anywhere on your mat, you can face either direction, standing nice and tall. Inhale, bring the arms up, and exhale, come down into forward fold. Inhale, come up halfway, and exhale, fold. So now we're going to come back to plank. If you want, you can take a little hop, or any way you get there. Lower down, knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Coming to cobra or up dog, and make your way to downward facing dog. Take a couple nice deep breaths. Check in. Lengthen that spine. I'm going to lower our knees down and bring your forearms down. Now there's a couple ways you can do this. You can have arms parallel. That's a little more challenging. Uncurl your toes for a minute. You can bring your hands together and cup the hands, but try not to really squeeze the hands really tight, and make sure both of your pinkies are down. So that's going to be my choice today. So our forearms are using a lot of the weight, but our shoulders are working really hard too. Curl the toes, lift the hips, and here we are in our dolphin pose. Press the floor away. You can bring your gaze slightly forward. And keep pressing and lifting. If you want a challenge, you come a little closer, or you can keep back where you're at. We're going to hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Knees down, uncurl the toes, and come up and release. So just check in here, let the shoulders relax. So as we're doing that dolphin pose, our strong base is our arms, but our shoulders have to do a lot of work to get that lift. So we're going to come back into that again, and the options is to always come down to knees if you need to. Adding on, if you'd like, we're going to do leg lifts. Come forward, find your base. You can either have arms parallel or do the cupping. From there, curl the toes, lift the hips. So it's much like dolphin, only we have the forearm base. I mean, it's much like downward dog. We are doing dolphin. Press the floor away. Okay, right leg comes up if you want to do three-legged lift. If you ever want to do forearm balance, this is like Pinchamayurasana. This is really good prep. Lower the leg down. Left leg lifts. Lower down. Hold for 2 more breaths. The option to do 1 more lift. Leg lift and lower. Second leg lifts and lowers. Knees down. Uncurl the toes and have a seat up. Hands on your thighs. And take a couple nice deep breaths here. Good. We're going to come around to our hips, bring our legs out in front of us, and we're going to add a little twist here. So you're going to bend the right knee, left leg is long. Bring your right leg over if that feels okay. Bring your left hand to the outer right side and then twist around. Open. Now you can either bring your elbow across or just keep your hand on your hip. So you want to stay tall, open up in that shoulder, and maybe bring the gaze all the way around. 2 more breaths. Release around. Okay, uncross, keep the leg bent, and we're going to take the right hand and reach for the outside of the left foot. If you don't reach there, that's okay. Go for the shin. If you reach your foot, you can kind of use that to get, again, that little tension opening up. You can keep reaching, bend the elbow. Release it up. Okay, right leg long, left knee bent, left foot on the mat, cross it over, Sit up nice and tall. Bring the right hand to the outer leg and open up and twist. Okay, we're going to press up tall here. Stay nice and tall, lengthen in the leg, and hold. And if you want to add on, keep going, keep going. Bring the gaze behind you. Release to center, uncross. Take the left hand across to reach either for the outer thigh or the foot. And if you want to go in deeper, just bend that elbow a bit and hold. 2 more breaths. And release it up. Okay, take both legs long. We're going to kind of windshield wipe the legs side to side. We haven't done a lot of open leg work, so we kind of check in here. Sit up nice and tall. Now we're going to come forward just a little bit, just a little bit. Just hinge and then release it back up. Come forward again, straight back. Release your hands to shins or feet and lengthen in that upper back, shoulder, neck area as you lean forward here. Kind of press the chest forward slightly. That'll keep our back long. Take 2 more breaths. And release it up. All right, we're going to bring the soles of the feet together. We're going to keep a more of a wide diamond shape. We're going to come into turtle pose. Now, for some people, you'll be able to get your arms totally flat. For some, you won't. That's okay. The palms stay down. We're going to slide the hands under. And we're going to round and bring the head toward the feet. So bring that head down. So now I want to really let that neck dangle again. Round in the upper back. Let there be traction again. 1 more deep breath here. And release. Come on up. All right, we're going to come down to our backs. Hug the knees to the chest. Now, hold here just with the back still and just turn your head side to side. See how that neck's doing? And then if you want to add on, turn and roll the whole body side to side. My little chihuahua, if you can hear her in the background there, is deciding that she wanted to join us. I might have her come in for Shavasana. Hug the knees to the chest. And release the feet down. So that's the thing with practicing at home, right? You just got all kinds of things that can happen. All right, let's go ahead and we're going to continue to work a little bit more in the shoulders and the back. We're going to bring our arms overhead. Just kind of really reach them long. Bend your arms, grab your elbows, and then just kind of roll again side to side. So as you roll the knees to the right, you're going to keep anchored in the left shoulder. Come to center, keep those arms anchored. Lean the knees over to the opposite side. So I'm going to the left and my right shoulder staying down. And then do that one more time each side. Come over to the right, really anchor in the left shoulder. Come center, other side. And release. Bring the arms down to your side. And we're going to do just one little bridge here, up and hold. Now we're not going to clasp for this first one. If you want to do the second one, you can. First we're going to kind of curl, roll up into your shoulder bridge and just kind of feel how the neck and shoulders. So we're putting weight on them. Hopefully they're nice and stretched out and really feeling good. And then roll back down. Now here's an option. If you want to, you can grab your bolster and do a supported bridge for about 5 breaths. If you still want to work a little more, then you can do hand clasps. So you choose. We're going to roll up. If you've got your bolster, just slide it underneath your pelvis and let your pelvis come down. If you want to work a little more, walk the shoulders under, clasp the hands under, keep lifting, and breathe. So wherever you're at, you're going to hold and breathe. Each time we're in a position that we're just kind of holding, checking with the breath. Now just feel like I'm kind of doing a system scan when I have that time to do so. Taking moments to check in. If your hands are clasped, walk them out, walk the shoulders out. If you got a bolster, slide it out and come on down to the mat. Take your legs long, take your arms long. We're going to come into a banana shape by walking the legs to the left, keeping totally flat. Arms to the left as well. So either like a swaying palm tree or a banana. And if you want to add on, you can grab your right wrist and gently give it a little bit of a tug, but not much. If you want to add on more, then you cross over the right ankle over the left knee. So it really gives this really long stretch on the whole right side of the body. One more breath. Release to center. You're going to walk the legs over to the right, walk the arms over to the right. Same thing, banana shape. If you want to add on, clasp the left wrist with the right hand. Cross over the left leg if you like, totally optional. And I'm just going to nice press in that whole left line of the body. One more breath. And release. Coming back to center. Bend your knees, hands on the belly. Take a side-to-side roll. So if you'd like, you can do traditional corpse pose for your Shavasana. Another alternative that I suggest is knees bent, feet walked wide, knees drop into each other. And then if you'd like here, you can bring your arms up into cactus arms. See if that's a nice thing for the shoulders. And we'll hold here. If you want to do traditional corpse pose or any other Shavasana, feel free to do that. I'm going to hold here in my Shavasana for just a few breaths, and then I'll come up to seated and kind of talk you through a little more relaxation. So as you're in your Shavasana, check in first with the crown of the head and the forehead. Soften around the brow line. Soften the jaw, so we did that jaw work. See if you can let the jaw feel like it's slightly open. So we're not opening our mouth, we're just letting the jaw drop a bit. So the roof of the mouth is a little farther away from the floor of the mouth. Let the tongue fall away. And we have this long neck that's not doing any work anymore. And we take that down into the shoulders and allow the shoulders to be open. Now, if you have your arms bent in cactus arms and at any point that feels like it's any stress or strain, then just release them. Release them down to your belly or to a T. And then check in with the rest of the body from the mid-back down. How does it feel? Can you allow anything that might feel like it's gripping a little bit to let go? And stay in your Shavasana. Keep breathing. As you're letting go here, that's a kind of a tough place to say, right? If you're like me, when people go, relax, relax, the first thing I do is pull in and squeeze and pucker my asshole and all those kind of things. So I'm not like, can't tell me to relax, doesn't work for me. So what can we do to allow space for relaxing? We can use our breath. We can breathe gently in and out. And then we begin to find a focus simply on the breath, and the body will do what it needs to do. Often when we make space, things happen. That would mean either bodies, minds, all these things that we just need to make a little space. If you've ever had high anxiety and your mind's spinning, and then you finally get a moment of clarity or rest, or you take a vacation in the first few days, you're still spinning, And then finally there's space. And it allows all the superfluous things that aren't important to drop away. These things that we spend a lot of time on our lives that eventually they're just there when we need them and we can let them go when we don't. Kind of finding our true nature, our true balance. Let's take 3 more deep breaths. And let the breath as well just carry you through the last few moments here of relaxation. Checking in again, head to toe, toe to head. And we'll begin to come out by just maybe turning the head side to side, stretching the arms overhead. And if your knees aren't bent, bend the knees, roll to one side. Press yourself to seated, taking your time. Once you're there, easy, comfortable seat, hands in the lap. Sit up nice and tall. Eyes can stay closed. You can open them if that feels more comfortable. And then let's take the crown of the head and really lift it up to the ceiling as we allow the shoulders to soften, the chin tuck slightly. And we'll take the arms out nice and wide. Inhale, bring the arms overhead. And exhale and slowly bring the hands to heart center. Taking a moment to once again check in, a moment of gratitude. Thanking your breath, body, and mind for practice today. I thank you for joining me. May you find warmth, joy, sunlight, all the good feels throughout the rest of the day. And I hope to practice with you right here. Yoga with Teresa soon. Namaste. Thank you.